Okay, I've changed.
Oh, hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Everyone is
10 out of
exactly
10.
who they are.
Yes. There's been no
There's
shenanigans.
nothing weird here. This is a normal, very normal human day, isn't it, Lamb? Very normal human day.
Raiders.
So excited. Hello,
Hey,
TheBellzie.
thank you for the care package.
Oh, hello, Dory Dreamweaver. Welcome in. Thank you, TheBellzie, for subscribing. I also love Taylor Swift. She's my favorite musician.
It's a very normal thing to like.
As you can see, I've put on a little tie for today. It's my anniversary. I knew that.
It's totally normal stream.
It is very normal to know when your anniversary is.
Yeah,
As you can hear, my chat, I have classical music on to get me in the
I didn't
mood.
think you'd be rating it immediately. How was stream? I was listening.
Yeah, we are like a few $100s away. Yeah, $300 away from $7,500 goal.
I'm gonna go over here. How is everyone doing? How are we feeling?
Just a regular guy and a regular guy cosplaying as a lamb.
If you don't know me,
Hi, Jilly. Hi, Jilly. Hi, Kath. Hi, Faye. Hi, Maggie. You stole first. You stole first. You here. You knew I was gonna be live. You knew I was gonna be live.
It was instinct. It was instinct.
10, you're 10. You're
I'm
shenanigans.
so glad that you are here right now. You look fantastic, by the way. I really love your shirt and the pants.
I think Lame is flirting with Belzie.
One tiny issue.
When isn't Lamb
I didn't think
flirting
about with my my whole
Yes.
normal day.
All I heard was
forgot that
whole
all
from
my
over there.
sound alerts are very
Oh.
extremely not normal.
Oh. Well, I have classical music going
my
on
God,
right
Dory,
now.
thank
We
you
are
for
listening
streaking.
to.
Oh my
I
God.
can't pronounce
Dory
that.
streaking
It's
in
a
10's
jazz
chat.
beat. That's all I
Yeah,
know.
so crazy.
That is all I know.
Shirt at red. I hope it's shirt at red.
I'm
It's
Maggie,
shirt at
I'm
red.
Maggie.
Makes sense.
I'm
Dory
Maggie
loves-
Reaper.
Dory loves streaking in 10's chat.
Where's the Lamb Daily? That would require me to get into StreamerBot. So I might to hand in a ticket to IT and ask them. Maybe get a bit
Are
of
you
help.
looking for a zipper in the human suit? There's no zipper in the human suit. This is a normal human. I am a normal, regular human. This is definitely not a
Yes.
stock footage image of a human being disguised my
Yes.
true soul. That's not a thing. No. Where's the? No, I'm a normal person who says normal.
Very
things on a
normal person.
basis.
Oh wait, that's thumbs up.
Daily apple juice. That's a very good idea, Dory. I'm gonna.
Wait, Daily
I am
Apple Juice or
working
Daily
on
Monster?
StreamerBot, so that sounds like a good idea, actually. I'm gonna
Daily Apple
get
Monster.
inspired by that. We're gonna circle back to that. So I thank you for that.
Push you. Don't push me.
Oh.
Okay.
Pushing me.
We should introduce ourselves,
No
I think.
pushing.
Like actual selves or the memes we've been doing for like the
Yes,
last
yes.
10 minutes?
What memes? What memes? What
What
memes?
do you mean? I am a regular professional human, professional
Oh, yeah,
regular
you're
human.
So right. I am.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm 10 out of 10. Yeah, ooh.
I'm Maggie Reaper. I'm a fake glade keeper VTuber.
I am WindLamb, which is a combination of wind and lamb. I enjoy strolls on the beach, Taylor Swift, and going outside in nature.
I'm TheBellzie. I'm a professional regular human. I enjoy filing my taxes, obeying the law, and not burning down orphanages.
That last one seemed kind of sus.
I hate that I know what that last one's referring to.
I don't. Wait, Maggie doesn't know what that last one's about. Can we explain?
Well, let's circle back on this. Let's circle back on this. Let's take this offline.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very that's an offline discussion. That's for outside of
Yeah.
the publishers meeting 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's take that discussion offline. We'll
No,
circle
no,
back to that
Kyla.
later. You know, we need to take like this 3,000-foot view of like the whole
Maggie,
bandwidth.
no, I'm 10.
Let's close the loop and get started.
The problem is I have 7TV enabled in OBS, so I did not know that said hi Magi. Because I can just see Bellzie.
The worst part is I know exactly which emote that was. That's the
Hello, hey,
disrespectful dog.
hey, definitely Magi, not 10 out of 10, because it doesn't say 10 out of 10 above your head.
Oh
You
shit.
Pick the difficulty, considering
Shit.
you're the handicap. you kind of fucked the dog on that one. I mean,
Oh.
You know what? We didn't think that far.
You're the pooch.
Yeah, well, it's technically
Yeah.
just a model. It's technically just a model switch collab.
Yeah.
Let's just peek on regular because that way I don't get as much fall damage.
Let's put a
Okay,
hard stop to this so we get some leverage on this.
I didn't tell them we were leaving. I just did it. How's everyone doing? Oh my god. Oh my god, my internet's such shit. My internet's such shit. We'll join them eventually.
I love car alarms playing in my ear.
I realized I didn't tell you I was
I
leaving.
found a flying disc. Does anyone want to
it's so
play
fine.
flying disc with me?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I would
fun.
love a normal game of
Yes.
flying disc with you.
Yes.
Wait, why
I'm
is there a
throwing
fire
to
thingy at the end of my
phone.
thing?
Oh,
A fire thingy?
I caught
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Look at my
Splendid.
stream. There's like a
Splendid.
fire symbol at the end of my health bar.
Yeah.
Incoming, good
Yeah,
sir.
maybe it's because there's fire
Oh.
here.
I should
That
walk
was
through it.
mission critical.
This counts as like maybe a campfire or something.
It is, but like,
This will really move the needle.
where's Bing Bong?
Have you got, by any chance, do you have a thing pulled up with
Bing Bong
corporate
is
speak
right here.
listed?
Let's pivot back to that.
I want Bing Bong. Give me Bing Bong. Bing Bong, do you want to come with us?
You have a lot of synergy.
I should ask my friends for help. Should we take Bing Bong with us, Magi Reaper? I mean, 10 out of 10?
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes. I'm a big fan.
Of what?
Of business meetings.
Oh, me too.
We
I
should have
love
changed
these
our
meetings.
Steam
I love
names.
setting up a lot of meetings.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
have like
think
my
about-
Friday
think that far ahead.
meeting.
No,
Monday,
maybe we could do
Monday
that in
meeting,
between
Wednesday, just shifting them around.
matches?
I got a coconut.
No, because
bar.
we'd have to leave the lobby and then come
No,
back.
'cause we'd have to completely. Yeah, we'd have to recreate everything.
I don't want to do that.
Whoopsie Daisy.
Nah.
If I get disconnected, I'm changing my Steam name.
Oh, there is also a
That
very
won't be.
Oh,
confusing at
hello,
all. There'd be two Maggies. Well, hi.
fellow normal people. Hello.
yeah,
Hello, fellow. Do you have an updated resume?
I have several updated resumes. You want to add me on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I would love to
I'm
add you on
posting
LinkedIn.
Funny, I post funny dog pictures with inspirational quotes every single day.
I actually have a
It's like,
LinkedIn.
you know the cat picture of hanging in there. Yeah, I've got several of those.
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I did post my thing. Okay.
What thing?
Splendid.
I had a brief moment where I was like, "Shit, did I actually post my go live thing?"
Well, I did the Blue Sky redeem.
I know. I did remember to do it.
I need
wait,
the
I
I need
didn't
the
do
wolf
that,
ears
though.
so bad.
I don't think I did that.
I'm hungry. Oh, Bing Bong, can I eat you? Okay, Bing Bong says I can eat him.
Utilize all our wired chats.
I'm packed for a
I'm
very
gonna set
intensive
that for
trip.
that because I don't know how long we will
Yeah.
actually be going for.
I just love monkeys.
I hate that. Like, I wish it would just there's a thing in StreamerBot where you
could turn it on and it would just like turn off, like you can turn it off.
yeah, there's a thing in StreamerBot that like a widget that'll automatically change your Blue Sky status to live when you go live
To
and
know that for, like,
change it when you're not.
I have to use
Definitely put us
StreamerBot
in the
then.
black.
I don't want to use StreamerBot. I've already got everything set up and mix it up.
Yeah, that's the same thing that I am.
I just want this
continue
seamless
to do
transition,
research,
that's
'cause
all
there's
I
probably
want.
a way to do it with like mix it up and stuff.
There has to be.
Okay,
Why-
people, do we want to move? Do we want to climb?
I didn't mean
up
to take
this
that. Take it
mountain?
back. There you go.
It's time to climb this corporate pyramid.
Yes.
I'm so glad we have two regular humans with us.
And a Bing Bong.
Yeah, and a bing bong.
Belzie, he keeps
Wow.
telling me to go in your backpack.
Mm,
I'm gonna be serious this run. This run's a serious run. Next run, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Whee!
Maggie River, what are your favorite dropshipping methods?
AliExpress.
Oh, good one.
oh dear, I seem to have come across an obstacle. We're overcoming this obstacle. We are looking
Yes.
to a bright future.
Yeah, we're really scaling both in height, in elevation, and in the corporate environment.
I hate
I'm
this.
feeling very entrepreneurial today.
I hate it
Yeah.
here.
So professional, regular human. What are your Q2 projections?
We're in Q3.
My projections are
No. This is Q2.
No, this is Q3. No, it is. I guess it is the last month of
This
Q2.
is Q2.
This is Q2.
This is Q2.
It's the last month of Q2.
Q3 starts next month.
Q2 will end strongly in an upwards direction. However, Q3 is an unpredictable mistress. We could see a rise in taxes in various sectors.
We just gotta make sure that we scale accordingly and apply all the mission critical parameters to
Depending
Q2
on-
and 3.
Oh, there's a chubby
Oh,
Sherman
be careful!
scientist.
Oh, jolly!
Wait.
Oh, jolly! Oh, you got it.
Please don't shake your
What are
chubby
you
stream
doing
on
with
stream.
that?
Oh,
Oh, I will help you up. Are you okay? Oh my god, you slipped. Is this a workplace hazard?
I need.
I
Where's
don't think-
Where's OSHA? I'm suing.
Oh, welcome in, Jacob said, to a totally normal peaking adventure.
Oh, Jacob's the organizer for the Trans Lifeline.
Oh,
Losing my
welcome
mind.
in.
Welcome in, Jacob. Oh no, is my computer? Oh dear.
Jacob, I have funny planned for the charity next peak. Am I on the bridge? I'm not on the bridge. I'm like half on the bridge. No, never mind. Now I'm not. You broke the bridge.
Now none of us
Hell
are on the
party
bridge.
The
people.
market has crashed. The market has crashed.
Oh. Hell,
Dump
like in
your
the Bible.
investments as
No,
quickly
it's
as possible if
hello.
You don't want to end up in the
Well,
negative.
Maybe I
Maggie,
should.
Are you hungry?
I am hungry. Can I have your chubby shroom?
I mean, hello. and
Yeah,
how
let
can be
me
the same
feed you
thing?
my chubby shroom.
Thank you.
Depending on the
You fed me to your
meeting,
chubby
yeah.
shroom. Please respond.
Sometimes a greeting to a fellow employee does feel rather hellish.
Maybe
Jacob,
it's
so-
corporate culture. Maybe it's corporate culture to tell them hell.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so
I am
much.
10 out of 10. I'm super helpful.
Yeah, no, you're not. 10 out of 10 is like bringer of
Oh,
chaos.
jolly.
You're
The
so
fog
right,
is
you're
rising.
So right. I should not be giving you any hands at all.
I finished the drive. I'm so proud of you.
Congratulations, Jelly.
Yay!
Wait.
I
Ma-
will
10.
make sure that
if we do the
firm will
funny
get
next
you
round, does that mean you have to
a
do the
gift
oopsie or do
card.
I?
Yes.
We both do oopsies? Okay, for $10,
I'm okay with
I'll
that.
do the oopsie. For $20, you do the oopsie.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's scale this cliff.
I think this cliff is a manifest of
This one?
her takes
Okay.
for my portfolio, and I will conquer it.
I'm not good at
I'm
peak.
gonna scale this cliff with my cat-like reflexes.
Ooh woo.
Oh, jolly.
Ooh woo nya.
Maggie, I
Mm,
still hate you for that.
I'm not convinced this is the way. It's very much is not the way, but every downside also has an upside.
What's
So
the
we
upside?
go down and then we go up over here.
Is it time for me to do the funny and...
Project
I
doesn't
don't
need
like-
to be
I don't think
perfect in
that's
the
the way.
beginning. You can make it better over time.
I don't think that's the way either, Belle.
I saw a single pixel of yellow, and I had belief. I shouldn't have had belief.
Look, I went down it like a normal person.
Belzie was like those cave diver memes of like
The
cave divers when they see like a 2-inch wide gap.
Sometimes
It was Belzie when they see a
sometimes
pixel
you
of land.
have a prediction, and you project in a manner that you think is optimistic, but results are never crystal clear, and the plan can deviate.
This is such a normal collab for us. That's the weird part.
It's so much fun.
You're walking
Well,
weird, Maggie. I need you to stop that.
Important to keep the scalability up and to be truthful to our customers.
Hee.
Truthful to your customers. That's
I mean, we are in the entertainment industry. We are performers. We're actors. So it is the dear view of what the customers.
I think maybe we should have done Lightfoot, because I
the
think
best
this fog's gonna kill
perspective.
me.
Oh no. Jabba.
What the fuck is going on? Oh, I died. No, I didn't. Okay.
No. This is the good fog.
Yes. It's mission critical that we all do our best here.
oh, I see you went that way, not this way.
Where's employee 10?
Down here.
Are they doing okay? Do they
No,
need
I'm not.
some-
I keep getting stuck, and I don't know how.
Oh, hello?
Yeah.
Oh, can you let go?
Yeah, and then...
And here? And then, like, here?
No. It won't let me. Wait. I'm moving. I might need a hand.
Oh!
Hey, my first fall
How bad
damage.
is it, employee 10?
It's not bad at all. I'm just not doing...
Okay, come with me. We go up here.
I did that.
Okay, and then you need to move away a
You-
bit. Come here. Come over here.
You pushed
Come
me
over
off
here.
again.
Because I need to get past you. Yeah, then you go here. You jump and then you grab. And we scale this. Scalability is important in our industry. And then, yeah, we grab you.
Oh. I almost fell off.
I saw that slip and I like my
Then we
hand
go
was
up here.
outreached.
So a lot of space here. You need to stand here. Then you jump on this one. And then you climb
Oh, shit!
over here.
They may have fallen all the way back down.
I did.
It's okay. No, it's fine, it's fine. How bad is it?
It's decently bad.
Just, no, get back here, get back here.
So, is it,
So, in crisis use, it is very important to have a cool head and to use resources accordingly.
Okay. Thank you, employee WindLamb.
Thank you. No problem.
Music fine? Perfect.
I'm actually the assistant to the regional manager.
Uh-oh.
So
I'm so fine. I don't know why I can't do this.
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I think you might have to go on without me.
No. I believe.
I mean, you could make it sufficiently bad and I could carry you.
Okay, let's do that.
And then we will allocate other resources to making sure that you make it. I might need your help, employee Major Reaper.
Okay.
I can't... I'm not making it. Like, I'm not getting enough fall damage. I'm too hungry. That's why I can't climb. Anyone have any food?
Yeah, that would do it.
I don't
No.
have any food.
Bellzie, our food has left. No, I can't. Like, I don't have enough to just climb up the thingy. I don't want to use a baton yet. Bellzie, come back.
That's fair.
You have our food. Bellzie abandoned us.
Chelsea can't be that far ahead of us.
They
Go get the
can.
Scoutmaster.
What the fuck? It's like I think it's glitching for me.
Oh, I'm also getting hungry.
Yeah, I don't have
The
enough to
more
climb
we
up. I
linger,
do
the
not have
worse it
enough
gets.
to climb up. We
I
might have
can't
to.
do anything about that.
We might have to find another way up for me.
Yeah, Lamb, you can go.
You can look.
I don't know why it wasn't letting me climb that. Like I was following the route you were taking. It was just
Weird, like, alcoves like that can be weird sometimes. It's also probably better if we go back too, because we could find some food.
You can try.
the sad thing is like I'm actually like trying to seriously play this game. I'm just not good at it.
I mean, I don't think it's a matter of being not good at it. Like, it's just it can be a very difficult game, especially like when you don't know what the route is.
Yeah.
Too.
There's a lot of suitcases we missed down there.
There's so many suitcases.
I found food.
I'm coming. Oh, that's probably gonna be fall damage. Yep, I was right. That did. It did a little something.
There's coconuts up there.
Okay. Okay, wait.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh no.
I will get
Oh,
the
no,
coconut
toilet.
to you.
Okay, I'm just gonna stay right. I'm gonna stay. This ledge looks safer.
Yeah.
I found some more coconuts.
A coconut. Oh. I watched that roll down the hill.
What can?
Into the coconut.
Right there.
How is it? How's
I
your
have
hunger?
like half stamina. I have like 3/4 stamina.
How bad is your health loss?
So I think Bellzie just ran into the Scoutmaster. Judging by chat.
Oh no. Bellzie might have encountered the Scoutmaster. Oh, the coconut!
Okay, I have no more. I'm not hungry anymore. But I'm like 1/4 damaged.
I don't have any
I'm a
more
little
resources to
hungry.
allocate to you for that.
Apparently, I was too far away from Bellzie. It's my fault. Oh shit. Okay, well let me listen to one of their streams real quick. This is fun. So fun. I don't know what to do. They're still up? Okay, Wendy invited me to play Peak. Wendy invited me to play Peak. Let's go play Peek, everyone. So normal. It's loading. It's loading. Okay.
Hello.
Hello? Oh my god.
Hello?
I didn't know that would happen now. Like, I thought I would be a ghost.
No, they fixed that.
Oh.
Yeah, they made it so the ghost was the default, but I think they even admitted that it was a bug. That like as long as you were still alive and like people hadn't progressed far enough past where you were, you should come back alive.
Okay. Also, yeah, Bellzie definitely got the Scoutmaster.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, because if I'm remembering correctly, the way the Scoutmaster works is it's based off the second highest person.
I think so. So I think when we went back for food, it went all shit for
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
In my defense, Bellzie shouldn't have abandoned us. This is BellZie's fault.
But BellZie is Frog. You cannot help them.
No, BellZie's a regular
Let's
normal
not
person.
Allocate the blame. Let's think about the future. Let's think ahead and see how we can fix things now to get better results
Exactly.
soon.
Exactly.
I'm just glad I didn't do
I
Peak
thought
1 or Ascent
BellZie-
1 because I think I would have been dead from fall damage.
Might have also just been the fog too.
So in my professional opinion,
Hi,
the
Nuka.
way that you couldn't go up might have been the best way to go up.
You think we need to go back?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well.
Well, BellZie will be at the ghost at any second. BellZie can help us on the way up. Nuka, you got a Viking. Ooh, that's a good monster. Nuka, if you stick around the next time we peak, I'm gonna do a funny for every time someone donates $10.
No, there's just no way.
Ken, I have a present for you.
Is it another Bing Bong?
It's food.
I'm not hungry right
Give you
now.
Stamina. Oh, okay.
Thank you though.
This might be a way. I'm over here. Follow the sound of my voice. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo.
Oh,
Uh,
Ooh. There's like a little tiny ledge, and then you gotta. Yeah.
Thank you, Lamb.
Oh, thank you.
I believe in us. Thank you.
Oh, I might have fucked myself.
Badgie?
I'm good. I'm okay. I'm right here.
I don't see you. I hear Badgie,
I'm
but
right here.
Stop. Oh.
Oh, hi. Oh, I went adventuring and I got stuck in a hole.
oh. That sounds like something 10 would do.
A teehee.
Oh, there's a spiky thing.
I'm starting
Yeah, it's
to
just-
think my name might just be cursed.
What, Magic
Hang in
Reaper?
there,
Like-
you know?
Yes, because like you've basically been perfectly reenacting what it's like when I peak. If I can take damage from something, I can and will.
Okay, so yeah, it's
Trying.
not your name, it's your PNG. But have you gotten much fall damage?
I've had 0 fall damage.
Then my PNG is not cursed.
I've obtained the cat-like reflexes of being 10 out of 10.
Oh. I'm hurt. I'm so hurt.
Oh no.
Well, we need to move quickly and try to do the best with the situation we got on our hands. You cannot always predict the market, but the market can predict you. That's what I'm saying. I think my model broke. I'm gonna be for real, for real. Okay,
Oh,
this
no.
is like really rough. Oh,
yeah,
that
Oh.
hurt a lot. This hurt a lot. This hurt more than it should have.
Yeah.
I have Piton.
It feels so early in the game to use Piton, though.
See, I see somewhere we could probably get, but like I don't know where it would get us. Is the problem.
What's that thing?
Oh, wait. Oh, there is actual fog.
Don't question
Yeah.
the flying tie.
Yeah, there is actual fog. And it's really close to us.
It is very close.
I'm gonna be honest, I got so much damage, I'm not gonna make this.
Okay.
I believe.
No, I'm like almost dead. I'm not gonna make this.
Oh, okay. I don't have the stamina to do this now.
Okay, I made it to here at least.
I had to use the Piton. I'm so hungry.
Can you make it, 10?
No.
No.
You can try.
I am trying, that's the problem.
Can you get to the Piton?
No, I can't even make it to the Piton. I'm like... Oh wait, I can? I'm holding it?
Yeah.
I'm holding it, but my stamina is not going up.
Oh, like.
Oh.
It's okay, the fog is here. I'll miss you.
Yeah.
Goodbye forever.
I think you moved after you grabbed it, and that's why.
I wasn't trying to. But it's okay.
I know.
I'm just letting the fog take me.
It's sketch at best.
I'll miss you.
Or 10.
Now I have the time to do the funny. Dive into the fog. I'm gonna give up.
I don't know how much farther I'm gonna get without you, Lamb. Sorry.
Stream again, please.
Have you had fun with the Scoutmaster?
I eluded the Scoutmaster. He came at me, and I had to leave his personal space.
You kind of abandoned us.
Retreated down the mountain. I did not abandon you. I have the backpack.
Yeah, I know. Which I needed food earlier because I didn't have enough stamina, and I needed food, and you were gone. So that's why you had the Scoutmasters. We had to go back to get me food.
Lamb, are you alive or are you dead?
I'm still alive.
And then the fog took me.
Oh, I'm coming. I'm coming. I thought you were dead. Where are you?
Also, I saw your stream title. I
I don't know what you were talking about.
Fuck you.
I have no clue.
You abandoned me on purpose.
I have no clue what you mean.
Why don't you want me to peek?
Lamb, are you injured?
I'm almost dead.
Are you injured?
By the way,
Severely injured.
when you guys get a second, look at Bellzie's stream title.
Oh, I'm going like right now.
I would never.
I'm still
intentionally
severely
abandon-
injured.
I would never intentionally abandon a fellow employee.
What is the stream title?
Will 10 peek? Not if I can help it. Or not on my watch. Bellzie, like, I'm actually trying to be serious. You hate me. You said you felt bad for exploding me.
This is an attack on my character.
You said you felt bad on Christmas for exploding the soda can right as I was about to peek, and this is how you repay me.
I've done nothing in this current time to intentionally cause you mistreatment or harm.
That's a bold-faced lie, and you know it.
No.
Making dinner
This
plans.
is-
I don't
This
think
is
we
the
should
truth.
allocate blame. We should
Right.
allocate assets instead.
Great assets. Great assets.
Here I am, helping my coworkers.
You hate me
Think
because
about it. If I peek, then technically you peek.
Belzie hates me. Wow, how did I get fall damage from that?
The game hates.
Oh no, I dropped the link from yesterday, Belzy. That's so embarrassing. Oh no, I should did.
Maggie, I got fall
Oh.
damage from being revived.
That's fucked up.
You really did curse
That's not
me.
that bad.
I want this hot dog.
Teehee. Oh, fuck.
I forgot. I went to cook that and I ate it instead. Oops.
Oh well.
I have a lot of excess stamina.
Get the,
Is that a good mushroom?
Still
I
hurts.
did not get the, thank you. Gonna cook.
Belzie? Will you please not abandon me this time?
I have not. I've never intentionally abandoned a fellow employee.
I'm okay.
I won't abandon you.
Thank you, 10.
This is an interesting variant of the roots biome.
This is a hazy situation. I don't see any clear way through it.
I was looking for a. Ooh. Oh wait, there it is. Hey, hold on. Do you have room in your inventory?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna try something. Just because I have not gotten this achievement yet. Oh.
Quite the situation up there.
Yes, I can see it being.
I don't know if that works.
I'm not making this. Holy shit.
It didn't work.
I have no idea where anyone is.
Yes. One could say that I am
What's
bouncing on
terrifying?
it.
It's
Maybe
not
even
great.
in a crazy style.
I've never lost hope.
I'm gonna fuck myself.
Realistically, my ideas and ideals for the workplace.
I am but a humble servant of the company. Where are the others? Where are the others?
It doesn't feel like my
Okay. Goodbye.
Where's 10? 10? Magi Reaper? 10 and Magi Reaper? 10 and Magi Reaper? I think something terrible might have happened. Magi and 10? How is the situation?
Good.
Where's 10? Oh, I know where 10 is.
Oh, do you see 10?
Yes.
You should see
Oh,
me
I
too.
can.
I got lost because I couldn't find anyone, and then I died to the spores.
Oh no.
I tried to call for help, but I could hear people, but no one was answering, so.
I could not hear you.
It was Lamb and TheBellzie I could hear. I couldn't hear you.
Oh,
I was looking
down at the
for
very
you.
bottom. I tried to get the mushroom achievement. It didn't work.
You need to eat all of them, but...
No, the bouncing one.
No, the bouncy one.
Oh.
Ooh. I really hope that didn't hit Lamb.
It did not.
Okay. I have this. I don't know what it does. Okay, don't eat the blue ones.
Follow me.
The blue ones give you gas. Oh.
Ouch.
But the wind's blowing.
I'm having a slight issue.
Is it that we're inhaling fart?
It is not going down. That is the
Ah.
issue. It's not going down.
Hello? I would like to grab this ledge. Hello?
I can't make that. I
Can I
guess
make
I
it?
would... Shit,
Oh,
yeah,
I
I
cannot
don't
make it
have
either.
any stamina. Oh
I
well.
also don't have stamina, but that's because, yeah. What about...
You have a lot of
if we
spore
went, like,
damage.
here. Took fall damage.
You also have a lot of spore damage.
I do.
I believe. Why isn't the spore damage going away?
It is, just it takes a really long time for it to go away.
It takes a really, really long time.
Mm-hmm. Part of my spore damage is because I ate a blue shroom, which in hindsight might not have been the smartest idea.
Eat the red shroom. What's the worst that can happen?
That was actually helpful.
Have you eaten all the shrooms before?
I have.
I have not.
Just go up. Thanks, Dory. Lamb, have you found a way?
Oh, I have.
Hey, there's a little bit of a ledge. I love that.
Okay, I'm trying to make my way back to you. I might not have... Nope, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good.
Hi, Plum.
Okay, where do I go from where you were? Okay. Oh, and then you're gonna give me a hand?
Oh, I don't think you're making that magi.
There's a tiny ledge where
Oh,
you are.
yay!
Do not walk into this, I beg of you.
You can do it. You can do it. Oh my god, yes, 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 gamers. There's mushrooms right over there.
Mushroom right here, too.
Yeah, that's the mushrooms I was talking about.
Oh, excellent. Ooh.
I'm dead, so I can't point.
Terrible news. This is not connected to anything.
Ooh. Ooh. What about...
Oh, there's Magi found a bridge.
Yeah, it's also not connected to anything, but... I'm trying to get this chest.
I think maybe run away.
That chest is like almost impossible to get to. What the fuck? Oh, you got it.
Oh my god! I love milk.
But now you can get on the bridge to the tree. I don't know if that would work.
Is the bridge to the tree good though?
I don't.
I lost lamb. Oh, lamb!
I hear Lamb.
I hear lamb too.
Where are you at? Maggie's looking.
Maggie abandoned me. They just left.
No, Maggie said they were going for a chest, and then they looked around and you were gone.
Yeah, they ran away. I didn't.
No,
know
they
what
didn't. They said that
went.
they said what they were doing.
Well, it's very important that we don't allocate blame, but we allocate good thought.
Lamb!
Lamb thought you ran away.
Oh, lamb hates me.
There's the platform shroom on that rock formation over there.
Oh, hi, Bellzie.
Hello.
I can see them. Okay, tell them there's a zombie coming for them.
There's a zombie coming.
Oh.
I told him.
Okay, perfect. I can see it.
This is funny to watch from the distance.
Could see the zombie climb up the side of the mountain. Oh shit.
You got this, Lamb.
Of course I do. As a veteran in the corporate environment, I know how to make my way up the ladder. Oh well. If Major Reaper would have not run away, we would have both be up here in safety.
Yeah. Maggie didn't run away, though.
Major did run away.
Oh.
Terrible, terrible thing to do. Anyway, I'm gonna run away now. Oh no.
You're in a really bad place if wind comes.
I'm afraid that Major Reaper does not know where the mountain goes up. They go back to spawn. Tell them that, please.
That what?
Tell them that they're going the wrong way.
Lamb says you're going the wrong way.
I don't know which way is the right way.
I don't know either. Lamb can see you from where he's at. Yeah.
I can't see lamb.
Lamb is kind of in those, like, rocks over there. I don't know how to describe it.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Over here?
Yeah, like straight ahead of you.
Oh, Bellzie became a zombie. Are you alive?
I very literally eat through on the smallest of margins.
Yay!
Okay, I told Maggie, and I tried to get them to go where you're at, but I don't know if they...
I'm pinging at them, and I'm trying to get their attention to where
I can see where you are, Lamb. My current issue is lack of resources in the...
Bellzie's yelling at you that they can see where you're pinging, but they have a lack of resources to make it to you.
Okay, I don't have anything to heal them.
I
I'm
know.
gonna explore to find healing.
At least some good is coming of my death. I can be a messenger.
Yes.
Lamb is going for healing stuff.
I don't know.
Okay. Oh no, that is gone. That is
No,
gone.
I'm here. I was letting him know you were looking for
really
healing.
easy. As some very talented artist said, we are going up, up, up. It is our moment. And I think we can use that approach for this mountaineering expedition.
Any other messages you'd like me to pass?
No, no, no. I'm currently just looking for healing,
Yeah, I let them know that. I'll let them know your other message.
but it is. There's a distinct lack of resources.
Liam says there's a lack of
Okay.
resources.
Close?
I told him. He did find one of the healing shrooms, though.
Well, if I would find one, I would bring it to them.
No, they found one.
Oh, they found one.
Yeah.
I believe we can make.
Belzie has, like, good health now.
Okay. Will they find their own way, or do I have to backtrack?
I don't know. Like, I'll ask. Does Liam need a backtrack, or do you guys think you can find your way up?
No, we should be good.
No, we should be good.
Okay. Well, then, how's your day going?
I have to poop soon.
Okay. Is that an
How about you?
idiom for some corporate endeavor? I'm doing spiffing. I have played a lot of Overwatch when I'm not, looking at lines going up for my firm. And
Hi, Maggie.
Oh, hi.
Y'all are going a way different way than Liam is, and I have no idea who's right.
There is no right or wrong. There is only peak.
I wish I could know what that was like.
We've discussed this before in the past. There are many routes to success.
Yummy. This is a bad mushroom.
You should have eaten it anyways.
No. Would you look at that? A spring.
I see the smoke.
Yeah, indubitably. I'm at the campfire.
Okay, I'll let them know.
I'm running into the wind. I just can't see where
Liam's at the campfire.
Okay.
They said okay.
Okay. Oh well. What a lovely day for a mountaineering expedition, isn't it?
What biome is
Blue
next?
skies. Either the snow biome or the desert.
Damn, I was hoping it would be the cold one because I need an achievement on that.
Getting through it without getting cold too much, isn't it?
Yeah.
Will be a tough one to crack.
I just figure I'd die right away.
You don't need to die 10.
I mean, it's a good way to not get cold damage.
I know, but I believe that you can do it without that.
It's okay. I've already died
What I've
twice.
seen from your performance statistics, you can.
the proximity to the spores is
Concerning.
concerning. Why are you silently staring at me? Creature ghost.
Silence of...
Pink spores. Welcome, my eyes. I was really hurt for very long, so yeah, probably. completely pink. How are you guys?
Is that why
I
you're
think
pink?
everyone has left me. Oh yeah. You know, Ten, sometimes when I look at the sunrise,
Okay, I think we go
We
here.
go there and then in.
What's that pink glowing thing over there?
Pink glowing thing?
Yeah.
Mushroom.
Oh, it's pretty.
Oh, I see. We do go in. We have to go in to go up.
Yeah, I think this is the way Land went.
So when I said I would like to a milk tree.
Wait for a little bit of stamina, stamina, away.
That was rather wonderful with the echo you had going on.
I can hear Lamb, I think.
I cannot hear Lamb yet. But
I
we must
can.
be close.
Yeah, that's Lamb I
I
hear.
can faintly hear Lamb.
I think once you climb this rock formation, it's up there.
Excellent. Oh, it's a purple shroom.
I don't think you're making that Magi.
Can't get there. It was almost really, really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, a suitcase.
Oh. Sweet.
Oh,
Oh.
I would like to add to my portfolio.
They're very close. I can hear you when I'm watching them.
Oh, hello.
employee. Oh,
And by
employee
that, I
imagery.
mean
But
I
I've
see
seen,
Lamb.
I've seen the CEO. I've seen the CEO.
Oh.
He was. I saw him at the company office, but he didn't
Oh.
like get in to meet me. I couldn't introduce myself.
Is that what we're calling the
Oh,
Scoutmaster?
is that your CEO?
I saw the CEO. Oh, yeah, the
So-
CEO didn't come in to greet me though. I couldn't introduce myself. I
Yes.
didn't have my business card.
Yes, it does.
Excellent. Oh.
You left me 10 when I was doing a funny bit. And that's when the
Was it-
Scoutmaster.
Was it funny?
Abandoned me.
You ran away somewhere.
Yeah.
I went to go get a chest. I was not that far away.
Well, you should have gotten my attention and let me know so I know what
But
task.
Magi did say that they were going for the chest. I was watching you when they said
You
it.
should have gotten my attention. That's what I'm saying.
Hola.
Where's? Yeah, I was gonna say, where's the statue? It's there. This is a very unusual placement
What do you mean?
for luggage.
What do you mean? It is protecting the inside of the campfire, the most valuable part of the fire.
Hmm.
Oh, hey, look, a note.
Anyway.
Whoa.
It
Oh,
is
damn.
indeed the Mesa.
There's another marshmallow here.
I just realized I was about to say I'm going to restart my PC. And I was going to say that before we lit the campfire, but
Oh. Would you like marshmallow?
I'll put these in here
Why do you have to restart?
Yum, yum, yum.
because it's about to blow up.
Oh no.
07.
I can't. I've been watching stuff slowly break for the last 5 minutes while I was in the last biome, and I am very aware that I need to close everything and restart the PC. 'cause
Oh,
I can't
no.
do so much.
That didn't work. Oh no.
Okay.
And now
Tragic.
we wait. Was this cooked?
Nope.
Wait, 10, why?
Because someone paid money.
Oh, jeez. Lamb, why are you... What are you doing to the peak?
I fell.
Oh,
It's very slippery.
You were making some hip motions as you were getting up there.
No. Careful what you say. The corporate environment is rough.
Why are you rating me, Bellzie? I don't have a trailer, and my PC is... That's a mistake. Bellzie rated me.
It's because of 10 charity streams.
Hi, I'm Magi Reaper. I'm a fake laid keeper VTuber. I play a variety of games, including Pokemon and Final Fantasy 14. Right now, I'm in the middle of a charity thing. We're trying to get to 7,500, and we are at 7,288. So, you know, please help donate for Trans Lifeline. It's a good cause. And oh yeah, I'm a goose. Did I get that right?
Did you say gatekeeper VTuber?
Glade Keeper.
Oh.
I think I got Magi's introduction really.
You
Don't
had
wait
it very
up.
accurate.
The other employee wants us to move. So can you take one of the backpacks?
I don't think I should take this one, but that's fine.
Oh, no.
I have oopsies to do.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys want the chain launcher that's in my backpack?
What else is
You
in
just
your
take my
backpack?
energy drink?
No.
You did steal the energy drink.
No, I didn't.
No, a bunch of stuff just disappeared out of this as well.
Oh.
I didn't take anything from that bag. But I will.
Wait, you took the marshmallow out of my bag.
No proof. Geronimo! Oh, that didn't work well. It's not working. We need some fall damage. There we go.
I'm okay.
How did I not get fall damage? I'm like purposely trying to get fall damage and I can't. Okay.
Don't worry, there's a big canyon ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The canyon event.
I'm very hurt.
Hey, look, the temple's open.
I've never gotten the temple achievement. Can we do it?
We could. We could try. Question is do we have the resources to do it?
No.
Oh.
Bless you?
Oh, good zoom tight.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was gonna say, 10, if you wanted to take fall damage, that would have been a great time to get
I did.
a lot of it.
I did.
Excellent.
I've done my oopsies. I have a lot of fall damage, but I also have a lot of extra stamina, so.
Stamina. Waka waka hey.
Is that a YouTube thing?
Wait, have you never heard Shamanomina?
I did.
being abandoned.
They've thoroughly oopsed.
You guys can also make me oops for money. I have a torch.
You know, this doesn't look as bad as it seems. This is probably the nicest I've seen the tomb.
Yes.
It's because it wants me to get the golden bing bong achievement. For $100, I'll jump right down. Huh. I had to use some of my extra stamina.
That's fair. Lamb, did you jump up to there?
It is fun.
Oh, I don't like that my game just, like, froze there. That scared the poop out of me.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Oh shit! I fell. Not intentionally this time. I'm dying the slow and painful way. It's okay. I died. I died.
You're singing Countess workplace harassment.
I didn't actually mean to die.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What is it, 10?
I gathered. I heard the oh shit, and I didn't even need to look behind me to know what had happened.
I saw 10 fall.
I didn't fall on purpose.
No, that's so fair. Like, honestly, the tomb is supposed to be, like, a really hard section. And, like, it was, like, equal parts, like, not and also hard. The only thing that I regret about you... Well, I mean, there's many things I regret about you falling, but, like, the biggest thing that I regret about you falling is the fact that you took all our food with us.
No, I didn't. I only had an energy drink.
Woo!
Oh, wait, it was in my backpack.
Lamb? It's safe to come out now.
I don't know.
No, like Matthew was saying it is.
Oh. Well,
That was an answer. Oh, I got taken far.
Matthew got taken by the tornado.
Oh, Jolly!
You can escape, I believe in you. Oh, but with golden ping pong, you don't take damage.
I know, but how do I get out of here?
I have no idea.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, hi, Lamb.
I require assistance.
I can try to assist you. I don't have anything to assist you with, unfortunately.
It's... You might have to let golden ping pong go at the top and then crawl up.
Lamb?
Oh no. It says Liam doesn't have any items when I...
There's no way I'm gonna make that, unfortunate.
Yeah.
Damn
I
it.
don't think I can even get golden bing bong.
You cannot. You cannot.
There's capybaras, though.
Yeah, there are capybaras.
It's all on you, Magi Reaper.
So, okay, I'm thinking there is a way I can get golden bing bong, but I need rope
As
for
I
it.
called Benham and Spitty said. Yeah, if you fall in there, we call Bimbo, you just can't get out, I guess. Because the thing just constantly knocks you up and you can't get away.
Yeah. It's tempting, but I don't think it's worth.
But at least we know the temple's open when we come back.
Yeah, that's true. Assuming we come back before the map resets.
True.
Which we should. I think we got like 3 or so hours before that happens. Also, I have very little faith in my ability to get us up.
I'm gonna beautify the workplace.
I think I see a way. A lot of cactuses.
I'm gonna disappear for a second. Keep my chat entertained. I have to go to the bathroom.
Go piss, girl. Gender neutral.
Magic Reaper.
What?
In the workplace.
What about? What, huh?
Why is it broken? Why is it broken? Why is it broken?
An hour 34 till map changes? Oh, okay.
Thanks
Yeah,
for redeeming that, Belzie.
Oh god. 10 is in front of my face right now.
That is concerning. What is part of a good office, Magic Reaper? What would you say is part of a good office?
Working remotely.
Okay, let's not do that. Let's think about this. Like when you go into an office, what makes you say, oh, this is a place where I want to be at every day for the rest of my life?
5-minute or less commute.
Okay, like in the workplace itself, aesthetically, what do you need in the workplace? Cucumber water. Cucumber, great idea.
Free food.
Food, okay, I can work with that. I can work with that. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna redecorate the workplace so it gets a bit more homey. Oh shit, that's good. Oh.
I don't know that I'm gonna have the stamina for this.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going. I just used up all my bonus stamina. It's fine. Actually, I'm not gonna use that
I
just
need
yet.
the top left. Cucumber water. We can do cucumber water.
This is incredibly motivational.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm the opposite of motivated.
You mean like the big thing, like cucumber? What is it called? Like tub.
Tupperware?
It's a big tub. No, I got cucumber water. Wait. This is just someone in the bathtub. We don't want that. This is deodorant.
I have
Like, what's the big water skin
marshmallow.
called? Like in the office where you do on the thing and then the water comes out. Water dispenser,
water
is that
dispenser?
See, this is the word I was looking for. Oh yeah, this is lovely. This is lovely. Okay.
I need to get inside. Also, can I?
Water cooler. It's not a water cooler. Aqua pitcher. It's very unprofessional of you, actually.
Okay, golden prickleberry. That'll be good for later.
Damn, that's small. Okay, we gotta get creative with how I cut this out.
Oh jeez. Oh, I'm so hot and stuff.
Okay, this is not my best work of deleting the background of something, but it is honest work.
I'm gonna get us to the
this
peak,
looks
or
great.
my name isn't
This is great.
Keeker out of 10.
That sounds a lot like you were drinking the Kool-Aid. It does. It was called that. Okay. I think accounting needs to get their stuff together. Okay. Aqua
The fog
pitcher.
rises? No. How about the fog doesn't rise?
What else is part of a good environment, Magic? What else? Like, we have a cucumber water dispenser soon. We do have an inspirational poster. What else? What else do we do? Okay,
This is a good question.
Let's get like here.
I don't know that I have the answer.
Okay. This goes like right here. What else? Shaking hands, yeah. Corporate meetups. Shaking hands, corporate.
Oh, my fucking legs.
Yeah, this is a good picture. A succulent or two. Succulent what?
Okay, I won't, Jacob. I already died. I can't do an oopsie right now anyways.
10 will oopsie at the next available life. What's in there? Ooh, trail mix. Give. What do I have?
The plant, a potted plant. Any specific plant or just any? Yeah, this is beautiful. This is really what Creeper was made for. A succulent plant.
Ooh, office dog.
What's the most succulent plant? Office dog. Yeah, what's the most succulent plant? Like, if you look at a plant, what makes you think, yeah, I want to like tap that?
What?
You know, the plant, plant, the office plant, but like succulent.
Did you just say that what makes you want to, do that?
No, must have been someone else.
I don't know how to mute in game, but I have to do punishment wheel spins. I just realized. Oh, I guess I could just do push to talk, but that's too much work.
I don't like how
Shade.
foggy it is here, so we're not going that
The
way.
plant is succulent. Okay.
Baby shark.
Someone else from accounting. We can add an accountant. I feel like we're getting a good work atmosphere here.
I'm a random person out. I'm not gonna do that because it's shared chat.
One thing after another. One thing after another.
Oh.
I believe. I'm believing so hard right now.
Okay, let's get that one here. Maybe a little. You know what? Over there, we do. This is really watchable. This is really watchable.
Yeah, for 10
okay,
minutes.
we add
Oh.
this plant. Succulent plant.
Can't do it right now, but
Oh, this is really
Shark.
succulent. This is really.
So I have to meow for 10 minutes.
Oh, nya.
Technically, don't you have to meow?
Yes.
Yay.
Nya.
I'll set a timer for you.
Oh, oh.
Oh, wait, you can't see Sarybot because it's in my chat.
No, I can see it.
Okay.
Nya. Oh, no.
Teehee.
I think I found a way, Nya.
I believe in you.
Honestly, I thought this was a really bad map today, but it's not actually that bad, Nya. It's been relatively simple to find the way, Nya. The worst part about the mesa is the fact that, like, even if you find the way once, like, finding the way again, like, if we come back, is the hard part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should neon support this Wraith Climber?
We should
No.
also, yeah, as a part of this Wraith Climber. Like, it's like a corporate thing, yeah, we can do that, yeah.
Corporate, yeah.
I also want to say I have to say it. We are $6-7 away from our goal for Trans Lifeline.
Oh, that's
Poggers!
I was gonna say that I was gonna try and do nya with nasty, and I'm like, that doesn't work.
Nasty.
Plants.
Never mind, I've been proven wrong. That does work.
The only thing you can't mix nya with is Bellzie's name.
Where do we want to
yeah.
put it? Okay, damn it, I forgot to fucking delete the background of this, so it has the white background. Wait a second.
Yeah, it takes you a second for that one, huh? We're so close, Jacob. We're so close.
Just so wide, okay. You know, mistakes happen, and that is okay. What? I don't want to open this. I want to save this new plant without the background. Plant, thank you very much. Okay. I almost think that stopped streaming on reflex. Okay, image 5. Let's pull this bad boy up. Plant. Oh yeah.
What'd you find?
Look at this plant.
Milk.
Put that over here, actually. What else? What else? Yeah. Someone else from accounting, yeah. Yeah, I can add someone. What does a typical accountant look like, yeah?
I took accounting classes, so I guess an accountant can look like me.
Glasses, okay.
Oh, thank you for the care package, Red.
Thank you for the care package, Red.
Hydrate, thank you, Red. Red, how do you like the professional environment I've created on the screen? I feel like if you
here?
I feel like you can almost see the game in between all the different assets. It's just a very professional day. at work. Actually, his PowerPoint was memorable. Yeah, we need a PowerPoint presentation. Currently, I'm doing someone from accounting.
Hey, awesome.
PowerPoint presentation. Yeah.
We do believe in
More PNGs. That's what I'm feeling.
This is actually 10 out of 10 that's doing it, not Magi Reaper. We don't listen to the Steam name.
Yeah.
Like, you can see the game. I think that is not something we should do. You know what? I don't want to get an asset for glasses. I'm just gonna draw the glasses.
It's going though. I've died 3 times now. I didn't mean to die the last time. I didn't technically mean to die any of the times. It's just.
What else does accounting look like? Do they have like a tie? Do they have a bow tie? What do they have?
Turning Lamb down.
Custom glasses, yeah. What else does accounting have? You know what I'm gonna give them? A nice little tie.
How's it going? Awesome.
Crippling debt, but if accounting has crippling debt, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, they're not doing it right if they have crippling debt.
A deep emptiness in there.
Well, Magi hasn't died once, so Magi is Magi not playing the game? Magi, according to Awesome, you're not playing the game, yeah?
That's so fair. I don't know, like, literally, I don't know where we'd be without me. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, the best
I'm such a
peeker.
gamer and stuff.
I want to do archery. That sounds fun.
Oh, nap time now.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Awesome. It sounds like a fun hobby.
Oh, this could be bad.
I believe. What have you done, Awesome? What have you done? Yeah, milk. Milk will save you from the heat.
I'm creating.
It does. It saves me from the heat, and it'll prevent me from getting heat damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still a hobby if you're buying a bow.
Get rid of my heat damage.
You're not nyawing. How dare you?
Yeah, sorry. Frick. Brain is.
Do you see how hard it is to do it?
Now. Yeah. Oh.
This is why I fuck up sometimes.
hard, yeah.
It's. I don't like that you said that. Don't say that again.
What are we doing?
Don't say it again. Magi said an inside thought out loud.
That uwu. I mean, yeah. Frick.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I might be high enough that we're not taking heat damage anymore.
Nice.
Means that we should almost be at the peak.
I think you are. I'm like looking up, and I think you're very close.
This is accounting. Where do I put accounting? Where does he go? Where does he live?
Compound curve or long or flat uwu. Yeah, frick. God damn it.
I feel like you should just.
Do you understand how hard it was to do uwu nya now? Do you understand the timeout?
Anyway, he's just gonna be there. Oh,
I shouldn't have untimed you out for the Pokemon. I should have just let you watch it.
Kind of, yeah. See, but 10, like, I'm not even, like, it's not even that it's hard, it's that more so that, like, I'm like, oh, I'm doing the wrong one, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah. Yeah. See, Smoke.
Oh my god, my friends can come back,
And then we can bring TheBellzie back, unfortunately.
But before you...
TheBellzie... Yeah.
Can you look at my stream real quick?
Oh.
I have invited back because I don't know if it's gonna revive you. But if it takes it, it takes. It should.
What
take Belzie
what
to
about
go.
it?
You see what I've been creating.
Yeah,
How do you like it?
it's something.
Oh, thank you so much.
Elsie, you literally said that your point is to not make me peek. So, like, yeah, unfortunately, we're bringing you back.
Wait, Belzie, did it put Belzie back at the start?
Which means you're gonna get the Scoutmaster soon.
I'm fucking dying.
Bellzie's dying
Oh,
currently.
but he's passed out. Probably.
Not yet.
He's what?
He's not passed out yet, but he is dying. He's in the fog.
Okay, well, I'll wait till.
I'll watch him and then let you know when he's. Well, you know, you'll see his ghost.
Yeah, his yeah. Belzie Ghost will come.
Yeah.
Double what?
Yep. Yeah, frick. Yeah. Okay. Oh, hi, friends. Yeah. Welcome back.
Oh! I was
I
like
wish you'd
drawing
done-
something.
I wish you did invite me afterwards. Oh, I'm cursed.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't think about it in that sense. I wasn't sure if like it was gonna bring you here or what.
The auto saves are now in the game, so it put me exactly where I was
Ugh.
before. So I spawned in at the last campfire. I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking die.
Oh no.
Hey, Lamb, I sent you an
Yeah.
office access.
Did you send me an office asset?
Okay.
Yeah, I sent
Okay,
you an
I'm
office.
currently working on one.
How's everyone doing? How's everyone enjoying Peak? Just a reminder, we are $67 away from our goal for Trans Lifeline, and for every $10 you do, I do an oopsie, which is chaotic and fun, and I'm gonna go step in the fire again because no one did an oopsie yet, but I just want to do it.
I'm glad to have a skin back in the game. I'm ready to touch base. We'll get a lot of traction in this next section.
What are you
Yeah.
doing to the campfire?
I'm waiting for someone to light it.
Oh, yeah. Hello?
Can you look at my stream real quick?
I'm gonna light it myself if no one does it soon. What if we played a normal game next time?
Pulling Lamb up. Yep, okay.
I need you to tell me where
What
does
do you mean
the
a normal What do you mean a
where
normal
do-
game next time?
where does the flipboard go, Reggie? Where do you think?
I said what I said.
Board?
Yeah, the
What do you mean a
flipboard.
normal
Show
game
it to
next
you.
time?
The fuck is a flipboard?
Never mind.
You don't know what a flipboard is? You clearly
What
work
do you
in
mean a
modern
normal game next time?
society. You see this?
Ted, what do you Ted?
This is flipboard.
Ted,
Where does it live?
What?
Yeah.
What do you
somewhere
mean?
like that.
Okay.
a
Yeah,
normal
that
game
seems
next
good.
time.
Maybe
goodbye.
behind the plant.
I feel like it's good on the plan.
Okay. 10, no.
I better auto
Oh wait, yeah, 10 needed to do
Wait,
damage because.
what did he send me?
Would
It's a good
anyone
office
like
asset.
this nice cooked sausage?
Why are you just staring at me, Belzie? Stop it.
I'm removing thorns.
Would either of you like the cooked sausage?
No, I'm currently removing thorns.
Those are my thorns.
It's quite a lot of them. You're hoarding them. You should keep some for other people.
My thorns.
Okay, let's go.
Do you want?
give.
My retirement thoughts. Your entire
The entire,
retirement
the
thoughts
entire
are gone.
corporate budget has been spent.
Your thoughts. I'm sorry, man. You gotta have to see how you make it. Every employee for themselves.
Guys, we lost one.
Oh,
What's funny is
no.
if they took off my thorns, I would
have
be
a
back,
remedy
but
fungus.
it's funnier this way. Oh, I'm also really hungry.
You can drop it down here at the bottom.
Wait, is there maybe corporate music?
I like that you said drop it.
What is this?
So, yeah, the remedy fungus.
Upbeat corporate music.
What if I just gave up right as they dropped me? Didn't heal me. I have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever and just give up.
Really good right now.
See, look.
Hi.
Why?
I'm gonna send you something real quick, Belzy.
So how hurt are you?
I'm more hungry than hurt.
What are you sending me, lad?
I'm sending you something on Discord.
I might do that next time, Red. Just as a funny teehee.
Teehee.
CEO, as a player, you can have options for future thoughts if you stay at the company forever. This is such a good idea. I love working for the company.
The redundancy plan is that you cannot become redundant.
Yeah.
Oh, you pushed me!
Oops.
This is not synergistic in any means. We're not breaking down silos.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we are $50 away from our goal.
Where'd Ken go?
The 10 fell in the fire.
It's a joke. It's
10 accidentally fell in fire.
Ken.
10 is dying.
Oh no. Can you take the backpack, Belzy?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to take
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Best part is even when I come back from the fire damage, like I'm not gonna be able to do shit.
I like the
All this
10
pain
like,
and suffering is going towards a good cause.
yeah,
It is.
yeah. It's interesting.
We do this for
that
charity
10
after
decided
all.
to switch it from the second run to the first run, and I didn't know that until they started to get
Oh, that's
$10
an interesting
donation.
spot for a chest.
Rotate that.
No.
The balloons are good.
10, would it be possible that in the group chat that
Oh,
we're
my
in, you can
fucking
send
legs.
like the little a pinnable announcement that I could pin for myself of the charity? I feel like, you know, people want to find it, they can see it. It would be lovely. It would be really good for corporate morale.
Yeah. I was gonna say if
But
10
yeah,
sends
no,
a
I
message
know
in
what we are
chat, we
doing,
could
Belzy, I know what we are doing.
probably pin it.
Because if we do if we support a charity, we can, you know, deduct that from our corporate taxes.
Yes. The next legislation has been really rough. Well, see, I'm thinking we go all the way, you know? When you're already at the peak of a business, there's always a way up more.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Let me pin
it's a
that.
little spicy there.
Oh, I'm not coming back. I should just give up. Didn't I? Didn't I just give up?
Thank you so much. I pinned that. Belzer, where do you go? Now that I think about it, maybe Belzer should have taken 10. Because I'm about to do something very stupid. this is the perfect angle. One small step for me, but a big step for the corporate environment. Let's go, 10. This didn't go far. This didn't go far at all. This didn't go far. This did not go far. This did not go far. Hello. I shot myself with a cannon from all the way up there, but it didn't go far at all.
Drifting in, going, this didn't go far. This didn't go far.
Whee!
Oh, did you use the balloons? Oh no.
I did.
Oh.
Did you need them?
No, but they reduced the bag weight to like nothing.
I know, but I was falling.
You do realize you get slow fall from the cannon there.
Oh, do I? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This is really prickly.
I need a lot of heat damage. I'm just watching this happen. Also, you can see my head through my hat just a little bit, and it like
Give me a hand.
weirds me out.
Thank you.
I don't want to see that blue. Why am I seeing the blue?
To up the corporate ladder.
Thank you so much. This is what true cooperation looks like. You see the? I can see the cannon up there on the hill. I thought it might go a bit further, but it did not. I'm very sad. Where's Marjorie though? Employee Margie.
Somewhere in that direction, I believe.
Okay, they're still alive, so we can move on. This is how
Unfortunately.
society works. Ooh, this looks like the meeting I had last Friday.
Escorting employee 10 is rather like herding cats.
Okay. Okay.
I realize with 10's name being 10, it literally just sounds like a corporate employee number.
Who are you? I'm 10. Oh, okay.
I'm not surprised.
Also, my stream title is totally being baked.
Belzie doesn't think I'm a person. I could just give up. I would be funny. I'm gonna give up right at the end. Like, they're gonna carry me all this way, and then I'm just gonna give up. You know why I'm gonna do that? Because it's funny. I'm getting myself right to the end. They're almost there, and I'm gonna do the funny. I'm gonna do the funny. No one tell them I'm doing the funny. No, it's because it's funny. It's because it's funny, awesome.
Do you hear that? The distant echoing calls.
Oh.
Somewhere out there.
That must be this recession everyone is talking about. Oh.
Hi, Maggie.
It was going great, and then fire exploded under my butt.
The recession hit hard.
Recession hit hard.
It was a fire sale,
very...
and
Wait a minute, I'm
Your
having
soul-
a bandage the entire time. Why am I not healing you?
That's so fucked up loud.
Are you okay? Talk to me.
I got myself to like near death, and as soon as you dropped me, I was just gonna suicide because I thought it'd be funny. And it was funny.
Damn.
Okay, have fun, Red. Take care.
Have fun, Red. Bye.
Take care, Red.
Hi, Red. Oh, hi, Ten.
Oh,
Hi,
you
Maggie.
missed
I did a funny.
roots and just called us Scots.
Did you jump in the lava?
No. I basically got myself to like near death, and the second lamb dropped me, I suicided.
Oh.
Messed up.
Lamb tried to heal me, and I didn't let that happen.
It's statue time. Oh, oh.
Look at you two.
It was funny.
It's very funny. Showed you the
Funny.
entire way.
I know. I was telling my chat. I told my chat that the second you dropped me, I was gonna die. So my chat knew that this was going to happen.
No one
A
told
tee-hee.
me. No one told me. It's unprofessional not to share information.
I
You're
need
almost
to
there,
get on
10.
board with this current
Let's see how I died this time.
Peek.
strategy.
Okay.
Behold this,
Oh.
but also this.
You know?
This is their fault for trusting me with the backpack.
Get warmth, you need to light a fire, you know, that's what I'm
Oh
saying.
no.
Medicine.
That's a good clip. Thank you, Ice.
Unwatchable. By all the assets I have on screen, but thank you so much.
Mom, you didn't add my ass.
No, I didn't have time. I didn't have time. I was revived. I was playing ever since. I didn't have anything to do. My mate was climbing the mesa, so I just added a bunch of stuff.
I will say it's been almost 2 hours and I haven't crashed yet. So I mean, I just jinxed myself.
Yeah, it was so good.
I mean, you did disconnect from the game earlier.
Yeah, but I wasn't the only one.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a client-side issue for me.
Interesting.
Mesa time is decorating time. Apparently, it is.
And this is where 10 would drop the bing bong, if we had it.
So about the time limit, when was it?
Limit? Time limit?
What happens if you're in the game when the map changes?
Nothing.
Okay.
You get to keep the same map that you were on, basically.
Yeah.
Like it. Oh. Didn't work.
Oh my god! You're gonna throw Maggie into the fire. Why'd you do that?
Now quickly into the backpack. Look, wait, where's my backpack? Where's my backpack? Did you pick up? Ted, I need this. Where is it? Wait, I fucking lost Maggie. No, Ted, this is your fault.
What were you trying to do?
Why did you pick up my backpack?
What were you trying to do?
Elsie, what are you doing with the grappling hook? It's like up your butt.
I'm gonna stay here. Can't stop me.
Here we rely on Lab to complete the peeking because...
It's gonna work.
10, I don't think you're making it out.
Bellzie's still alive.
This is Bellzie's fault.
Belzie is a bouncing corpse in the lava.
What about 10?
10 is also...
Oh well.
Yeah. I
You're
believe.
working for the company has shown me that.
I had the backpack.
I can do it.
A little bouncing bell.
Hello.
I had the backpack.
Hello. No.
Oh, hello.
Maybe if Belzie had told us his plan, this wouldn't have happened.
Someone's gotta have secrets.
I was also confused as to what was happening.
Yeah.
I thought Belzie was just doing a bit.
I thought so too, and that, like, apparently there was a plan, and that's why I grabbed the backpack, because I thought it was just a bit.
It was a bit, but it involved the claw.
Well, tell us! If you need the claw,
No,
tell
'cause
us.
then it ruins the bit.
Well, we lost the backpack.
Backpack.
We lost the backpack because of you.
You stole my backpack.
I thought you were...
Oh no.
It's okay.
Back.
WindLamb's got this.
Yeah.
I have nothing.
You know what? You have our belief and our hopes and dreams.
Okay, that, I hope that's enough.
I think it is.
Yeah, just believe in the me that believes in you.
Well, I don't feel like you have a good track record of believing in me.
That's fucked up.
It is. I'm so sorry. Don't tell that job. I've no strikes left ever since that incident. I can't stand there.
You
Ooh, I can
cannot.
stand there.
You could stand there. How about there?
Oh yeah. Gosh, I love climbing. Oh, that's
Lamb, are you sure that you're a lamb and not a goat?
I'm very sure.
But you're so good at climbing.
Energy drink.
That is good.
Lamb's got this. Lamb so has this. Lamb has the monster energy now.
Finally complete.
It's very hot over here.
Yeah, I'd be careful when opening the monster energy now.
I mean, you could pull a Belzie and open it at the top and then fall all the way to the bottom. You know, except for this time, instead of targeting someone, it would be just you.
I'm very hot.
Where'd Belzie go?
I don't know. Where did Baldy go?
Belzie?
Hiding in the walls.
Belzie, where are you hiding?
Maybe Baldy is also decorating right now. I don't know.
Belsie's not streaming, I thought.
Making the office a bit more homely.
Were they gonna start streaming when we do it again?
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Yeah, you got a baton.
I do. I'm more excited about the milk though. It's very good for me.
Yeah, it prevents the heat damage. Belzie, why are you not talking to us?
1, 3, 4.
Belzie. Belzie, are you muted?
Are you finding a lot of chest?
Yeah.
I'm scanning my environment like a hawk. Look, there's beautiful.
You're so close to the top. Holy shit.
Yeah. Honestly, like, this map hasn't been that bad.
You say that, I've died every biome.
You've also been accepting Death Nations.
I only did that after the roots.
Fair.
Like I said, I did it when I realized Bellzie's title.
You're gonna prove the frog wrong.
No, technically proving the frog right. Hi, Joshua.
Grappling. Thanks, Ice.
An oopsie is a mistake on purpose, so like, earlier I stood in fire, and then I got into a cactus, and I purposely took fall damage. I'll steal something from somebody. Whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
Fucks up the game, and then also gets money for charity, so it's worth. WindLamb will never see me. This is such a beautiful view.
Look at the flowers. We got those at the office.
Oh no, Magi Reaper.
Oh well.
It's an inspiring view. The guy climbing and then a ghost. And then a ghost.
Very inspiring. Do we want to wait for Magic Reaper? Do we want to...
Well, Magi's dead. So it's not like... I don't think they got any achievements.
I don't know. Okay. Look at this. Oh well. Invite again. I'm so sorry, Major. I didn't read that fast enough. Look at the three of us.
Yippee!
Only the three. There was no fourth.
Well, I technically made it to the peak, but I made it as a ghost, so, you know, hey. That's
Yeah,
something,
so
right?
good.
Peak.
Are these different songs? I don't think they have changed. Are we on track 13 or 15? Okay, I didn't didn't realize the songs had changed.
No, laptop, you stay plugged in. Magi sent me an invite for peak. I'm gonna go to that one.
I invited the owl.
Oh, no, it's... Why are you standing like that?
Why not? It's my power pose.
Maybe Bellzie went AFK. Let's try rebooting. Okay. It's like closing peak and then opening it up again, I guess.
I guess Maggie has to do that. Because the game broke.
There we go. Okay. I'm gonna, I guess, like... Trying to confirm.
We made lobby. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna leave the game, I guess. Bye forever, Liam. Okay. Closing peak. Let's give me a second. I gotta reopen peak. Let's play peak. Peak, peak, peak. Let's get peak up and running, and then I'll accept Maggie's invite. Okay. And now that I got peak up, so it's still connecting. I don't have peak up. Connecting, authenticating. Come on, connect. Okay. Let's accept Maggie's invite. We're loading. We're loading.
Fuck, you did change your name.
Oh my god, wait, we hit our goal!
Yippee!
Hi, Maggie Reaper.
Oh, hi. I was doing something, and when I got disconnected.
I think BellZie's AFK, because, like, they were not responding at all when they were ghost. And then,
That tracks.
yeah. You didn't change your name.
I didn't.
You should have.
I forgot.
So now we have two Maggie Reapers.
Hee. I might be able to fix it. Hold up.
It won't let me. It never lets me invite friends. Steam hates me. Steam doesn't like me playing with games with people. I need to figure that out one day.
Is Lamb saying invite again?
Yeah.
Oh. Here we go. We do this. I know goal's been hit, but get donated, nerd.
So now, wait, Maggie, I have to draw your PNG.
Yeah.
Is that why you donated $25?
I mean, I donated 25 because I wanted to give, but like that is nice bonus.
We're at 409. Okay. If we get $91 more in donations, I have to debut a new model.
Amazing.
A new model.
Yeah, so if I get $500 of donations just for my stream alone, I have a chibi 2D model. It's cute. It's really cute.
I may or may not have already started planning a new outfit debut.
Oh my god, yay!
Maggie Reaper, you just debuted.
No. It's not like it won't. Literally, it's just me making a new outfit with the current model.
That's gonna be so cool.
Yeah. It's something that I thought I wanted to do for a while too, though. But it'll be a spooky month.
Is it a maid outfit?
Nope, because that didn't get unlocked.
Maggie Reaper, give us the maid outfit.
100%. I will 100% save that for a different goal of some sort.
I'm gonna draw you in a
it's such
maid
good
outfit
one.
and you cannot stop me.
Yeah, this is true.
It's better than you threatened to draw Maggie pregnant once.
Oh, Bellzie might have
No.
rebooted or something, because I think Bellzie
I did
completely
not.
offline.
Yeah,
I
I think
publicly
so.
say that I did.
They still show us active on Discord, but Discord's stupid, so you never know.
Oh, poor Bellzie.
What was my...
Oh, Lamb's climbing.
I gotta check something. I had something planned when we hit...
Rocks.
I have to do a tipsy stream now, too.
Oh my god. We're getting tipsy out of 10.
I don't know what I'm gonna do for the stream, though, but I have to be tipsy.
I mean, so like, my thought behind like a tipsy stream is like it's a dream. So like, are you drinking as part of the stream?
I will get a little... So
drinking.
I will drink a little bit before the stream so I can get a little tipsy, but I will be drinking throughout the stream.
The front
To s-
internet died. Is it gonna get back to live?
Yeah,
Oh.
can it...
Internet, wake up! Internet. If we get a remedy fungus, will it help?
Yeah.
That explains why Bellzie was so quiet for so long.
It does. I was curious about that.
But I guess like answer the question is like it's basically like a drinking stream, but like not.
I don't know. I've never seen a
Honestly,
drinking
don't
stream.
have hope for it. Okay, the frog
My
is
thought
dead.
behind like a drinking stream is it's like a stream where you play something where it's like, oh, if X happens, then you have to take like a drink or something. But, like, I don't know if that's what you're doing, kind of thing. That also, depending on what you pick, could like end poorly, kind of thing. Maybe
Yeah.
go from being a tipsy stream to a drunk stream.
Yeah, and I don't want to do drunk.
So excited. 10 has so many things coming up.
Yeah.
And all of this is due in part to all the amazing donations that everyone has given.
Yeah.
To the amazing charity that 10 has been joining and supporting and all that.
Do we want to try to peek without Bellzie, or do we want to just call it? What do we want to do?
Honestly, don't have hope for it. I'm good to go still. Could let Lamb decide.
Yeah, Liam's deciding.
We did. How long did we do?
2 hours.
We've been for like 2 hours.
It's usually good for me. Because if we pick again, it's gonna be like 4 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd be keep going or do
Or
the
do
jelly,
the jelly
thing.
We could do the jelly thing.
I think there's a tutorial though before we can play it. So, like, do we want to do the
In
jelly?
that case, I'd rather play more peak.
If BellZie's internet comes back, we can always just leave and...
We might be able to invite BellZie mid-match. I don't know how that works. If he's not part of the lobby initially.
We could try.
I do need to adjust Lamb's. Oh no, everyone's back at 100%. Okay.
Oh, they are.
Good.
Okay. I was wondering why you sounded quiet.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, am I quiet? Is that like you need to turn me up?
Yeah, I did. I did already.
Oop tee hee.
Sup. Okay, we want to keep going then?
Okay.
So let's go.
Yeah.
My drooper.
Oh. I'm so ready.
I mean, 10, do this.
Just do peek.
Yeah.
You are 10.
Oh yeah.
Technically, we have WindLamb and then
Oh my god.
two
We could
Magis.
change. We could do custom options too.
Oh, we can!
Custom options. Ooh.
Oh, there's a grapple mode, which is an infinite use rescue claw.
We want to do that?
There's also a kick mode. Where instead of helping hand, you have a kick.
Let's do both. Let's do both. Activate both. We do a run.
Okay. Expedition Classic? What's that mean? Mini run?
Ooh, a mini run sounds good.
Ooh, you can specify which biome you want to start in. Climb
Okay,
a
in
single
that
biome
case-
to win.
Yeah. But
We
we're
could put
doing the
the-
rescue. We're doing the grapple mode, so it's gotta be quick anyway. So let's do the whole thing.
Okay.
Will it be quick?
Damn, you can like customize so much stuff. We'll find out.
I wonder if this temple's still open when we do this way.
Grapple. 10 was not loaded in when I said that.
What?
Wow, look at that. We have a rescue claw. So the trade-off to having the infinite grapple is that you suck at climbing.
Ah. Good thing I suck at climbing anyways.
Let's go, people. Let's go.
You do
Let's
have
go
an infinite
climb the
grapple,
corporate
right?
ladder.
Okay. Whee!
Let's go climb the corporate ladder. Oh! I'm gonna get this one too. Oh shit. Ooh. Let's go!
Okay.
Oh. Stop it! Stop it!
I'm Spider-Man!
What? You still get full damage though, be careful.
I
I'm
didn't mean
gonna...
I didn't mean to hit you.
I'm gonna...
Spider-Lamb! Spider-Lamb!
Fuck you.
I didn't mean to hit you that time.
Ooh. Switch change to pink death biome. Oh, I mean, I guess, but we have a grappling hook now. It's whatever Spider-Lamb does. Stop it! Stop grabbing me! Stop grabbing me! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Oh! Oh, this is so fun. Ooh! My butt.
Water on my butt like Mr. Mario Kart. Oh god. I mean, oh, it's so normal. I really like listening to Taylor Swift. I'm a Swiftie.
Oh fuck, you really suck at climbing. Oh god.
Oh, jeez.
Let's keep it going.
Okay. Oops. I don't know where I went.
Are you down still?
I have a lot of fall damage. Ooh, but I found a suitcase. I need this. Oh. Hello? I don't know what's happening. Bye, Maggie. I should have used my milk. I had milk I could have used. I don't think they're finding me in time. What do you think? Do you guys think they're gonna find me in time? Yeah, they're not finding me. I died. I died.
Oh, hello.
I had milk and I
Hello
forgot to use
again.
it.
Oh no.
Oh, y'all were climbing while I was dying. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. Y'all were climbing?
No. Oh, it's a Meg.
That's so
I'm
fucked up,
sorry.
Maggie.
I heard you, but like I didn't know where you were.
I fell.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay, Maggie. I get it. You hate me. You hate other Maggie.
No, no.
I'll remember this.
Climbing the corporate ladder, I see.
That's what you get.
Oh,
This is what you get.
Oh. I'm like so hurt and shit.
So,
I'm so hurt.
happens to the best of us, doesn't it?
Also, it's so good that we, yeah.
Did you revive with a new one?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
It's not gonna do me any good.
Oh, it's okay.
I believe.
I don't think they're just making this one. How bad is it, Maggie?
Okay, it's not as bad
Okay.
now.
Also, Maggie, this is your fault.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, I forgot about that. Were you trying to get 10 instead of me?
No.
I'm not making this one. I have a lot of burn damage.
I believe.
Don't abandon me this time.
Are you trying to...
No. 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 I would never. I would. I would. Major Reaper. This is a professional environment. I would never kill. Anyone on my team. Because we are more than a team. We are a family. The family. That's what we are.
I meant to do you!
Oh, hi.
They fall really badly as per chance.
Oh, goodbye, Maggie Reaper. I tried. WindLamb could try to rescue me, but I don't think WindLamb will. We'll find out. We'll find out.
hi, Ten.
Hi.
What happened to?
I died.
Oh.
Ten stepped on the ground and it farted. Honestly, grapple mode, really fun.
It's really quick.
Yeah.
Oh.
I could be wrong, but I think you can turn fall damage off as well.
We should do that.
Yeah. Why? It's gonna take all the excitement out of this. It's not fun if there's no threat of dying.
But maybe then I can peek.
I could finally get my no damage run.
Yeah, see? Matty needs to do
I
a...
don't think achievements are on for this.
You don't know that.
I would be
It has
so
to be.
surprised. I don't think so. Oh, it was the wrong rock. Does grapple lock negate momentum? We still have momentum. And it hurts a lot.
It's got a lot of momentous. Momentability.
Yeah, that. What happened there?
I love how the you suck at climbing is just you go through stamina a lot faster.
Yeah.
It's like, it checks out.
It's okay.
Oh, you really do suck at climbing. I think Lamb's head spun on the character. I don't know what my character did, but I feel like if I were real, I would have broken my head off my body cleanly.
So many concussions.
Yeah.
Concussion, I barely. Oh well.
You didn't even move there.
I did not. I was like, okay, whatever. Oh. I don't like this map. Really, I hate roots.
I love roots.
I don't. There are so many things that will kill you. There's wind, zombies, and these little mushrooms.
The farts.
I will like it.
I believe in you.
The only thing I believe in is the corporate. Fuck. Oh.
See? Ground farts.
I hate this.
But the roots biome is so pretty.
It is.
I don't think it's
Also,
pretty. I don't like
Lamb, are you
mushrooms so
excited
much.
for the updated Caldera when it drops?
Not really. I just haven't played that much Peak, so my excitement is like, oh, it's cool when it's there, but it's like I'm not on the edge of my seat. I'm excited for when the new Overwatch hero releases. That's what I'm excited for.
So you can get stepped on?
Lamb likes getting stepped
This is
on.
a professional environment. This is a professional environment.
I love the little turnaround. Oh no.
I'm back.
Hello, back.
Oh.
Let's shift this marshmallow.
Whee!
let the
The
camp
Mesa should be. Oh my
play.
gosh! Wait, 10 should be able to get golden bing bong now.
10 will not be able to get golden bing bong, let's be honest.
I believe.
Very hungry.
You should eat. There's a marshmallow in here.
I got the marshmallow. I feed 10.
That's an apple. Let's go.
That's a good question. I don't think I'll be able to hold bing bong and grapple, so someone will have to rescue hook me the whole time.
You don't have to hold bing bong.
But it's heavy.
You just have to have bing bong with you.
Oh,
Oh no! Bye!
what's that?
I'm here! I'm here!
10 got picked up by the tornado.
I'm by the temple! Hello? I'm by the temple! Are you all in there? Okay. I'm coming down! I need help!
Oh, hi. I see you.
I need help.
Help? How? Oh, you're really thorny.
Yeah. I got picked up by a tornado and then launched into cactus.
I'm trying to take your thorns out, but you keep moving.
Sorry. Not sorry.
I guess I got enough of your thorns out.
You got them all!
Really?
Yeah!
Oh. I did. Ooh, ooh. Oh. I took the long way, apparently.
I think I took the long way. Oh no, what happened?
You know, I thought about how this would be great, and then I forgot about this room.
Maybe I should just stay right here.
You need to grapple to, like, get out, though. That's the thing.
I got it! I stay here and I can grapple hook them. I stay here and I grapple them when they're close. I'm waiting for you over here!
What are you waiting for?
Do I have to be over there? Oh shit.
You have to go over the side, yeah. I thought that guy. I was looking underneath the rock. Go out of the way, magic. People need space.
I thought I could wait over there and like.
No, because we have to exit over here.
Oh shit!
Okay.
I see an exit. And to no one's surprise, I'm dead again. I'm just gonna stay here and die slowly. It's funny.
There's a possibility that they are. But we can't get anyone back up from down there.
Nope, Ken just perished. I see now.
Yeah, I fell all the way to the bottom.
Yeah. Lamb tried to grapple you, and then Lamb almost died grappling you.
Yeah.
It's okay. I figured I was gonna die.
Hey, you. Fuck you. Oh. Come back.
No. I'm so turned around.
You can do it, Magi Reaper. Maybe you can't.
Yeah, fuck you.
Why are you so mad to Magi?
Yeah, go there. Oh! Little shit.
There's a tornado right outside.
I hear it. Oh my.
It's gone.
Oh, good. You stay. Oh, it's spicy.
A little bit. The tornado's headed for you.
I'm okay.
You're a bit thorny now, Magi.
Oh, goodbye.
No. Stand still. Stand still. I removed them.
Oh, hi, tornado.
Oh no, Magic Reaper, it's okay. There we go.
That's not all the thorns.
I don't care, it's enough.
Lamb doesn't care that they made me all thorny.
Oh, I do care, but I find it quite humorous, quite comedic, one might say. Ping pong is heavy. Almost as heavy as the pressure of corporate environment.
Oh, sunscreen.
Oh, Lamb, I have sunscreen.
Oh. I don't need it.
I believe in you, Magi.
Thank you. I love it when I believe in myself.
Yeah. Believe in the you that believes in you.
Oh!
Oh, that was so close.
I felt the edge of that cliff tickle my butt.
Did you say tickle your butt?
Yep.
That okay. I think this should make the climb up a lot easier. Like in the little area.
It should. Ooh, ooh.
The chest. With a bunch of Bellzie stickers on it. I don't think the rope is good right now.
The rope is not good.
Oh. Where are you at?
Hmm?
Are you even mad you too far away? I fear the Scoutmaster.
No, it's gonna be fine.
Thank you for the clip ice.
Thank you, guys.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Can I get to there from here? No. Ooh, but there's chests over there.
Yeah.
Ooh! We're okay.
You're so okay.
Yeah.
I wonder what happens if you combine a balloon and a grapple hook.
Infinite vertical ascension.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no, Magi. Luckily you had the balloon.
Yeah. I think we went this way last time.
I think so too.
Looks familiar.
Your balloon is stuck in the wall and it's so funny.
Oh, this is 100% the way we went.
What was that? Something just fell.
It was me. I fell.
I don't remember it being this foggy over here last time that you did this.
Because I was more over here.
Okay. I have no idea where your balloon is, but you do have a string still attached to you.
I love when my balloon disappears, but the string is still attached. Oh, this is so stressful because, like, one wrong move and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, baton. That does no good.
Useful. I mean, so it does and it doesn't. Because if I hit a wall, I could piton. And then, in theory, I will live. Like that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that didn't do what I wanted it to. Or it did, but...
The random falling item was a scorpion. Oh. Did you toss the scorpion down?
No.
Oh. You are way farther ahead than Magi is.
Oh, where's Maggie?
Down. In the WindLamb's at the top, basically.
Oh. Okay. I'm sure Lamb is just like panicking because they hear all this like explosions. Like, oh my god, is Magi okay?
What's checking in occasionally? We're watching your climb. It's fun.
Ooh.
Did you hear the explosions?
I did.
Magi's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
They're pretty close, I think. They're pretty close.
Oh, okay. To what?
To you?
Okay.
I think.
Like physically or like a game?
In game?
Okay.
Hey, there's explosive there.
No, no. Yep.
Oh, I can hear WindLamb. Oh my god, I got raiders.
Oh my god.
Hi raiders, I'm Magi. I'm a fake Gladekeeper VTuber. I play a variety of games, including Pokemon and Final Fantasy 14. Today we're playing. Oh hey, you have raiders now.
Oh my god. I'm also getting raiders. Hi raiders. I'm 10/10. I'm a cat doll VTuber. Nya-uwu.
Yeah. Hi, so we're playing Peak with Magi and WindLamb and 10 out of 10, who's right in front of me. And also, we're doing a charity event. For every $10 you guys donate to Trans Lifeline, we will do oopsies. Mostly, I will do oopsies. You can find the link in my pinned message. And thank you for the
It is
follow.
also pinned.
Yeah. It's pinned in everyone's chat.
I'm on fire. It hurts. I need to stand somewhere where I'm not burning. Hold on 1 second.
Hi, Aunt Daniel. So how was? Wait, it showed me what it was. You gotta get asked. You did D&D. Oh yeah, of course. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the raid. I hope you have a good one. Have fun with D&D.
Yeah, Rye, if you need a raid and run as well, please feel free to do so. Go get that ass.
We support ass here. We
Yeah,
like
for
big
stream
ass.
self-care.
Wait, are you above the sun now?
Like big ass, and I cannot lie. I believe so.
Okay, Magi's above the sun now.
Oh, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Takashi Strike.
Did you hear me, Lammy?
Doing well. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
hello!
Magi knows. WindLamb knows. Okay, everyone's Magi now.
Everybody magic. Oh my boy.
The screen doesn't always look like this. I know it looks hellish, but we have a nice corporate environment
hi.
on this completely normal day.
Yeah,
I'm
we.
so hurt and shit.
Yeah, look, you need a marshmallow.
I mean, I should get healed when we hit the campfire.
Oh my god, I'm back. Hi, Jet.
I could hear all the explosions, Magic Reaper.
Jet, did you see we hit our goal?
Listen, okay, had to do some stuff, but hope you all are having fun. Love your faces. No, you.
Oh.
No, you.
No, you. No,
No, you.
no,
No, you.
no,
Thank you for the
you.
raid ride.
Yeah,
Oh my
8K
God,
would be so
is that a
cool.
jet?
It is a jet. Is there only 2 marshmallows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
You probably need the food more than I do.
No, you take it. I'm hungry, but...
No, because like I'm not gonna. I'm barely hungry.
Okay.
It's mostly injury.
Yeah, I'm mostly hungry.
I'm still hungry.
Why did you kick me? How do you kick, anyways?
Oh, it's the
Oh!
help action.
Like that?
Oh!
It takes all your stamina to kick someone. That's fucked up.
How dare you?
I mean, we're really bad at climbing, so it checks out. Ooh.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. Hello? Oh, no! No!
Turbo.
Oh.
Shoot the ground as you're falling.
I couldn't. It was going so fast. It was spinning in air.
How hurt are you?
I'm pretty hurt.
I'm a bad person, Ted. I'm so
Can you
sorry.
put that down and then drop drop anything you have and then jump in the lava.
I only have...
No, you gotta respawn with the same health.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I should have saved that shit. Oops,
Oh.
well.
Well, shit.
Okay, it's too late.
So sorry, Ted. I can't believe Magic Reaper kicked you off the ledge.
10?
Oh, I deserve that.
I took so much fall damage from that.
Oh, here, let me help. Oh!
I'm a bad person. I'm so sorry, Magic Reaper. I can't believe Ted kicked you off the mountain.
So gonna survive this? I'm not surviving this.
Magic Reaper, are you okay?
No.
You okay, Magic Reaper? Oh no. Are you a bit freaked up?
No.
I am.
No.
Yeah, no. Lamb, you realize that as you're falling, you can aim at the
Oh.
ground and shoot the grappling hook and it cancels
Okay.
any fall damage?
Okay, okay.
It's like this, watch.
Flexing. Oh, I need that.
Oh! Whee! Honestly, grappling hook makes this so easy.
You say that, but I still have died twice.
Sorry, I meant specifically this section. Because it's mostly flat.
Oh my god, will I get through a single biome without dying?
Egg.
Egg. Yes, the egg.
Oh, okay. We may need to move because this is gonna blow up.
I'm just basically following Magi right now. Oh god! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh! tried to grab you to pull you across, and I accidentally grabbed the ground.
Oh no! No,
That was
Maggie!
like the opposite of. Oh.
No! Oh. Away. Okay. Oh.
That was so fucked up.
I didn't mean to!
I know. I know. I can't believe Magic killed 10.
Oh no, I hear WindLamb in the distance. Please tell me this is not all on me.
Yeah. No. Lamb's made it.
Oh, okay.
I believe, Jen, you got this.
Okay. I don't think I have this.
You'll be able to go if. Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you back up a little bit. Oh, or do that. See, you got this. You don't even need me pointing out where you can go to.
I might need you to point out where I can go.
All right. Thank you for streaking. Might need help. If you back up a little bit, you should be able to hit the ledge right above you. Like that peak there. To your... That works too. And then Lamb's gonna grapple you.
Okay.
Surely.
Oh my god, I made it a single biome without dying.
Hello. Did it.
The 6-7 guy just donated $10. I don't know who that is.
I've learned that I just never go for the egg on this map, on this version of it, because every time we've gotten here and I went for the egg, I died.
I got the egg!
Magic Reaper.
Oh, I'm so thirsty though. Is there anything else in the chest?
But egg, yeah.
Hey, there's a rescue claw!
Egg.
Ow. Next time you kick me, I'm gonna cry.
Oh. This game is stupid. Ah! Try to kick me. Try to kick me. Huh? Huh? Try to kick me.
Oh, I think I broke it.
Oh, no, I never do this to you.
Oh, hello!
As soon as I get in range, I'm gonna rescue claw them. They're doing shenanigans.
Oh, could have foreseen this.
Can we get climb up, please?
Yeah. Yeah.
Be here. I'm not very good with this grapple hook thing. Maybe we don't do this again.
What is it, Ted?
Huh?
Oh, you were talking. Ted, you wanna do the honors of Bing Bong?
Sure, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta go in there and you gotta sacrifice Bing Bong.
Do I just
Yeah.
throw it in the lava?
Yes,
Yeah.
but you gotta go in there. I'm not sure if this one gives you achievements though. I would be surprised if it did.
I don't see why
So
not.
most likely, I mean, because it's kind of.
Like,
Is it an achievement if it's that easy? I don't know.
I mean, you get cheek achievements on like the baby one.
Oh,
Ten, you were riding Bing Bong, Golden.
You are
Bing
riding
on
Bing
your
Bong.
horse there.
yeah. Throw Bing Bong in.
And now, did 10 get achievement?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm staring where I want to go, so I can't. Okay, that works.
Oh.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, maybe grappling friends here, not the smartest idea.
I was waiting for Lamb to move because they were where I was trying to grapple to.
This way? Oh! My head. My name is
Hi, Darko.
Scoochie Booch.
Are you listening to Scoochie Boochie right now?
Yeah, thick dentist.
Ah. Oops. I fell. Is the grapple hook in my head?
Yes.
Okay. I can see
You're
that.
Scratching the back of your head with it.
Nice. I can kind of see it.
And?
Yeah? Try to grapple me. It's okay. If I die, I die.
No, this is a safe spot to grapple.
Okay.
Oh, I had to climb a little bit there. Woo!
Hello? What happened?
You were about to fall all the way down, and I grappled you
Oh,
just in time.
thank you. I'm gonna.
I think right here.
Uh-oh. I have no idea where Magi went, and it didn't sound good.
I tried to grapple you, but I guess like I missed slightly, so I grappled back to where you were.
Oh. I've just been following you wherever you grapple, so.
That's fair. That worked so well, and then I died last time.
Oh no. Oh. Okay. I'm trying to shoot! I'm trying to shoot! It didn't let me shoot. Okay. It did not let me shoot. It did not let me shoot. You lied. You're a liar, Magi Reaper. You're a liar, and now you're laughing at me. I'm gonna cry. This is my 13th reason.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was trying. I thought you were gonna fall, and I tried to save you, but I guess you had enough momentum that it launched you over top of me.
Oh no! Can someone go to Maggie's? Okay, someone did clip it.
So you were like right there, and I was right here, and it pulled you and tossed you down over this side. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am the reason Ten's not peeking this time.
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, hi!
Screw you!
Screw me!
Bye.
Holy scream! Yeah. Oh, I'm Maggie. So thank you,
Sorry.
thank you for the bits, David. I'm Maggie, so I'm saying it.
I thought I tried to save Lamb. That's the last time I tried to save Lamb.
So you've tried to save 2 people, and you've killed them both.
I don't know where Lamb went. Oh, hi, Lamb.
Liam's right there.
Hello.
Maggie killed me too. It's okay.
Okay, no. Lamb killed themselves.
Maggie killed
What
everyone.
do you mean? You distracted me. Was not in fact Spider-Man, no. I was all the way at the top. I was like, I'm so lonely. I'm gonna look where the others are. But the balloons popped. You know what? You know it is.
Yeah, I know how it is.
You got this,
You know what it is when
Reaper.
the balloons popped.
That was a really far leap.
Yeah, that was close. You're kind of sliding though.
People say,
I'm not sliding anymore.
No, you're not. You're very close to the top. I believe in you.
Thank you. Oh, I turned on caps lock by accident there.
Are you about to scream into the void?
No, it was just an accidental caps
hello,
locking.
Quinn! Thanks for that. Great.
Hey, Quinn.
Oh, hi, Quinn. We're like quinning and stuff.
I think you're the only one quinning right now.
I feel so bad about your death, Ten.
You should.
All I was trying to
Ten
do
could
was
have
help.
peeked. Ten could have peeked and look what you did to them.
Yeah.
Oh, you did to the Magic Reaper.
I was trying to be helpful. I'll stop that.
Oh, that's my backpack. That's where I was at. I was
Do
like,
you
I'm
or
so
do you not
lonely.
feel
So
bonita?
lonely
I
because
feel
I'm alone.
bonita.
Wonderful, because you look
Do you
bonita.
feel bonita. My backpack now.
How dare you? How dare you steal my backpack?
Well, you died.
It's
Yeah,
still
you
mine.
died.
You're a ghost. It's not your
It'd be
thing.
really
Only because
unfortunate if
I am
grappled
dead.
Hi,
myself
cubes.
Off the edge right now.
Happy affiliate, thank you, Blue, thank you.
Oh,
I like that Lambs did not know it was their affiliate anniversary.
No, I did not. People had to tell me.
really, really funny.
It was.
You told me that in
Your
the middle of a
anniversary today. No,
comp
it's
game.
not.
Yeah, I know. That was the.
I was like, oh, I don't remember that being the date.
You're like, it's in November. Matt's like, no, I'm looking at your stream. It's now.
I thought it was in November. Oh, apparently it's June.
Imagine getting there first. No, I'm 10. Hello.
Something is in November. I don't know what though.
Is that your streams? Like the day you started streaming?
I don't know.
Uh,
I'm gonna be for real. have no idea.
I grapple. I can't grapple the helicopter.
But as you can see, this is a very normal stream. I have only I made my office very homely.
Oh.
You did it,
You can
Maggie.
almost see the game behind all the assets.
Yay! I can't believe 10 peaked.
Yeah. 10 peaked.
Damn, I died so much.
I made it through a single biome without dying.
You did!
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Good.
You did it.
I did not. That sucks you don't get achievements on that. Like, I guess it makes sense, but...
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an achievement if it's that easy, you know. It's,
The elevator... Okay, the elevator wasn't opening.
Oh no.
Oh, Maggie yawning. I'm...
Yeah. Maggie yawn.
Maggie sleeper. I barely even.
Oh.
I wanted to kick you, but I was just straight out of my hand.
You were not in kick mode anymore.
Floor.
So fucked up. So fucked up, Lamb.
Yeah.
I wanna go
Okay,
check
what's happening
the
now? I'm
settings.
spent.
That's fair. I'm looking at the settings.
I'm spent. I'm so fine with stopping it here.
Yeah. That's fair.
Okay. That's fine.
I haven't eaten anything today. I'm quite peckish.
Oh, Lamb, you need to eat.
Oh,
you need to
I
eat,
know.
Lamb.
I know, but I always forget.
Lamb, how are you supposed to be an entire meal if you don't eat?
I'm just a snack, I guess. But you know what they say, Edge Reaper? One man's snack is another one's eel. Eel? Meal.
Oh,
One man's
yeah.
snack is another one's eel. That's what they say.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't think they say that. Do you guys know who you want to raid out to?
I think 10 should decide.
Well, do we want to raid out to someone we all know, or do we want to raid out to a parade rat person?
I am okay either way.
Let me see here.
We could continue. We could go to a parade rat person.
Okay.
If you have someone in mind.
I think I have someone in mind. I just gotta... Okay. We have two options. Someone that's doing karaoke, or someone that's doing... Or we raid Asa, who's doing Pokemon.
Oh, wait, Asa part of the parade rats?
No, but Ace is part of the Save the
Oh, I
Collab.
see. Oh yeah. I feel like I'd like to raid a rat person.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I never get to raid Asa.
I never get to raid Asa either, because Asa always streams different time for me.
Yeah.
That's right.
We could raid Asa then.
Yeah, let's raid Asa.
Let's do that.
That way it's someone we all know, too.
Like, yeah.
Do we have an awesome raid message that we can like do for everyone? Because they're very uncreative. Mayfair! Mayfair!
Faye is probably not here right now. Faye had mentioned that she was going to be busy this weekend.
Okay. I
Twine
saw
put
her
something
in
up.
chat.
What about
Yeah, she
that?
looked into...
Don't know if she's doing
Oh,
it. Kicked our
Perfect.
friends in the office. Yes. That is the best raid message I've
Perfect.
ever
I don't have
Maybe
any
they're
I don't have any emotes, but like it's so fun.
No, that works. We can copy the raid messages
Yeah,
and set it up for our with our individual emotes.
that's true.
Anything you want to tell the good people of the chat, then?
When's everyone streaming?
Okay.
When's everyone streaming next?
I am probably not streaming until Wednesday. I don't know what I'm doing on Wednesday yet.
That's fair.
I might just play a bunch of
Yes.
games.
There's gonna be more Overwatch on Thursday, and then Mysterium on Friday.
I still need to play that game.
Yeah.
I got it because of you, Lamb, and I still haven't played it.
I know.
I would like to play
It's
it
like
when I'm awake enough to understand what's happening.
we have doubled the game's population, by the way. I checked on Steam. Like when we play, we double the population. That's not playing the game. That's...
Oh jeez. Okay, so I have
it's
that
really
for
good.
me.
I have this
People going from
for my subs.
From mine.
My people just
looking
copy
for a
whatever
global
message you're comfortable with, because I do not mind, and I'm too lazy to put anything in there. Like, I don't know, use a little sheep emoji.
We could use that for followers.
Yeah, there you go. It's almost like a kind of like a kick, a punch, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna start right. I'm gonna
So
raid
I
Asa
lied. I'm
parts.
changing mine after seeing 10s.
I like the emotes in the front and the yeah. See, it's okay. I haven't raided over yet, but I started my raid.
I'm also.
Wait, no, that's not the right Asa. What is it, Asa? There's an
What's 10
underscore.
streaming next? What's 10 streaming next?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna be for real. I set up the raid, and I'm over there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm over there.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone.